Hello and welcome to Top of the Ninth. Today we are taking a look at the top 9 players in Chicago White Sox franchise history, a franchise that dates back to 1901. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe. To start us off at 9 is Hall of Famer Nelly Fox. Fox played for the White Sox from 1950 to 1963, where he would be a perennial MVP and the best defensive second baseman of the 50s. In his time, he only won 3 Gold Gloves, but that was due to the Gold Glove award not being created until 1960, when he already was past 30 years of age. The 1959 AL MVP was not much of a power threat, but his elite fielding and contact hitting made him the face of the White Sox during his time with the team. In his 14 seasons in the South Side, he is second in franchise history in hits with 2,470, and during that 1959 MVP year, he led the White Sox to the first World Series appearance in 40 years since the 1919 Black Sox team, and has his number 2 retired by the White Sox. Next up is pitcher Red Faber, who is second in franchise history in wins with 254, helping win the 1917 World Series for the White Sox, where he went 3-1 with a 1.67 ERA to pitch them to the title. Faber was the ace of the White Sox, where he got a slow start to the majors, debuting at the ripe age of 25 years old, but who'd pitch all 20 years of his big league career with the White Sox, winning 2 ERA titles along the way to go with the 1917 World Series championship. Faber was on the 1919 White Sox scandal team, but didn't pitch in the World Series due to battling injury and illness. Many White Sox players stated they wouldn't have thrown the World Series or be able to fix the game if he was available, but that was not the case, as shoeless Joe Jackson and fellow ace Ed Ciotti threw the game and were banned with a total of 8 other players. I didn't include Ciotti on this list due to the scandal, and shoeless Joe Jackson wasn't included due to only playing 6 seasons with the White Sox before being banned. At 7 is Paul Konerko, who was the star hitter on their 2005 World Series championship team. Konerko played all but 81 games in his 18-year career with the Sox after being acquired as a 23-year-old. As Frank Thomas was fading, Konerko took over his place as their star power hitter, and he is second franchise history in homers with 432. The only knock against Konerko was he was not a good fielder, as he was routinely the worst defensive first baseman every year based off of defensive WAR, which hurt his team a lot. Fortunately, his great hitting made up for it. In 2005, he hit 5 homers in that postseason and won ALCS MVP as he powered the White Sox offense to the championship. At 6, and one of my favorite players to watch ever, is Mark Buehrle. The ace of the '05 championship team, Buehrle had many iconic moments with the White Sox. A 5-time All-Star, Buehrle pitched a no-hitter in 2007, and 2 years later he one-upped it with the 18th perfect game in MLB history, which was highlighted by the famous Dwayne Wise home run robber in the 9th to save the perfecto. A workhorse, Buehrle pitched 200 more innings every year for the White Sox from 2001 to 2011 to consistent 3.82 ERA. Buehrle went out and pitched every day and did his job for the Sox for 12 straight years. In '05, he had his best year ever, winning 16 games and a 3.12 ERA to help the White Sox win 99 games as their ace, highlighted with a complete Game 5 hitter in that year ALCS and getting a save in the World Series on 2 days rest in a 14-inning game, leaving the runners on first and third to close out the game. To start the top 5 is Ed Walsh, who is MLB's all-time ERA leader with a lifetime 182 ERA. Walsh would only play 8 full seasons during his career, but when he pitched, he was the best out there, highlighted by his 1908 season where he won 40 games to a 142 ERA. In 1906, he helped the White Sox win the World Series for the first time ever, allowing only 1 run in 15 innings that series. Due to his workload in pitching over 360 innings 5 times in 6 seasons, his arm became dead and couldn't keep up with MLB after the age of 31. After 31, he would pitch in only 190 innings, but like I said, when he pitched, he was the best out there. With the White Sox, he was the MVP runner-up twice, won 195 games, and has the best ERA in MLB history and a World Series to his name. And fourth is fellow pitcher Ted Lyons. Lyons is the White Sox all-time win leader with 260 wins and pitched all 21 years of his big league career with the team. He was the ace and workhorse of the staff for his career. Of his 484 career starts, he threw a complete game in 356 of those. Ted got called up in 1923, missing out of the glory days of the late 1910s in White Sox history. In the 21 seasons with the team, he and the team would not see the postseason once. In total, Lyons won 260 games with a 367 ERA, and I have him as the highest pitcher on this list due to his longevity with the team and him being the lone bright spot for the team for over 20 years. In third is one of the best hitters ever, Eddie Collins, who played 12 seasons with the White Sox. Collins was the second member ever of the 3000 hit club and had 2007 of his 3015 career hits with the Chicago White Sox. Eddie Collins was the star of the team of their 1917 World Series championship team and was part of the 1919 Black Sox team. Not suspended or banned from baseball due to the scandal, Collins, a career .333 hitter, batted .226 that World Series, leading many to speculate he was among the people part of the scandal due to no one ever seeing him play that bad before. He was not banned or suspended. Overall, with the White Sox, Collins batted .331 in 12 seasons and is an all-time great. Runner-up for the best White Sox player of all time is Luke Appling. A star of the team, playing all 20 years with the White Sox, Appling was the prototypical shortstop of his time, being one of the best defensive shortstop of his era and batting over .300 each season. The franchise all-time hit leader, Appling racked up all of his 2,749 hits with the White Sox to a tune of a .310 career batting average to showcase his elite hitting to go with his fielding. Appling never once made the postseason for the White Sox, but was the highlight for the team from 1930 to 1950, along with pitcher Ted Lyons. Frank Thomas, in my opinion, is the number one player in White Sox franchise history. A two-time MVP, Thomas hit over 520 homers in his career, spending the first 16 years in Chicago, where he hit 448 of those bombs. From 1991 to 2003, Thomas averaged 32 homers a season to 309 batting average and 428 on-base percentage, which put him up there as one of the best hitters during that span, competing with Ken Griffey Jr. and Barry Bonds for the best hitter of the 1990s. In 1993 and 94, he won back-to-back MVPs. In the strike-shortened 94 MVP season, he had 38 homers and 109 walks in just under 110 games. People have always wondered what he could have done if the season didn't end early and he had 50 more games to add to those elite numbers. Overall, Thomas had 448 homers and a .307 career batting average and .427 on-base percentage, with 2 MVPs and 8 top 8 MVP finishes in 16 seasons for the Chicago White Sox.